Hey, yo, what's up? You know what it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the God Speaks On. And yo, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Season 7, Episode number 16, Campfire Tales. I gotta say, I really enjoyed this episode on multiple levels. I'm like, because this was an episode that really had multiple levels to it, some depth, and a lot of reinforcing the lessons that are being learned through the tales that were told by Applejack, Rarity, and Rainbow Dash. And it's like, you have to appreciate stuff like that. The other thing that I say that I do want to appreciate and I do want to call out is I do want to sit up here and I want to give Scootaloo a little chance to shine, because I appreciate this character growth. That the last time Scootaloo was in the cage, she had a dream and Luna helped her with it. But I appreciate that she still has her fear of enclosed spaces, of dark spaces and caves, that it makes Scootaloo seem a lot more down to earth, because you just don't get over your fears with one walk through a dreamscape with one of the princesses of Equestria. No, it takes time to work through. And I appreciate that the show called back to it into a way, because for Scootaloo being who she is, going hard to the core to the right, going head first at everything, for her to have a fear that kind of debilitates her a bit, sits up her and again brings the character down to earth. And again, like I said, you don't wipe away fear, again, like I said, by taking one trip through a dreamscape. It takes time to work at it. It's like we all have things that we fear, that we are scared of, no matter who we are and no matter what the front we put up. And I sit up here and I just want to call that out and appreciate not only that giving that character that arc to grow, to ultimately get over it, but also to remind us that it's there, and to remind us that, yo, we all got stuff that we scared of, and it is what it is with that. The thing that I appreciate about this episode on multiple levels were the campfire tales being told and how they wrap back into the story. It's like you had Applejack's story about Rockhoof, and about that even though somebody says you can't do anything, you go out in the streets and you prove them wrong. That those same folks that laughed at him and said, man, you too scrawny, you can't do this, you ain't built for this work. When it came down to it, he had the courage to stand up to see that, this volcano is doing volcano-related activities, and the people of our village don't want to run, but y'all laughing, but y'all hop on a ship and peace out. He wasn't going to sit up here and dig that ditch alone, no. But he went there and did it anyway, at even the cost of possibly his own life. And his courage and his never say die attitude was rewarded with the power to avert this crisis. To understand that strength, that true strength, comes from never giving up. And then that was reinforced in the episode, because it seemed hopeless that these bugs out here, they done attacked our camp village. We stuck in this cave that has nothing in it. But you don't give up hope and you keep going. What I appreciate about Rarity's story, about Miss May, is the beauty in all things. Is that you can sit up here and go on and say beauty in the eye of the beholder, and it's true. There is beauty in everything. Sometimes people become too focused on what beauty is versus what beauty is supposed to be and what it's supposed to represent. And that story did a wonderful job of completely and utterly reminding us that beauty is wonderful, but beauty can also easily be turned around, pushed inside out, and perverted in a way, and we saw that in Sable's spirit. But it becomes up to us, the purveyors of beauty, who want to spread beauty, to understand that beauty has its place. And beauty has its place when it's on the right path. And Miss May gave up everything. She gave up her beauty in order for the place that she came from her home hood, to sit up here and to show beauty, and to also on top of that to be gracious and show mercy to her friend who walked down the wrong path but brought her back right. And I thought that was really, really, really beautiful. The story that Rainbow Dash told about Flash Madness it was brought back into the episode because, actually, you know what? Because let me get to the point about Rarity, because I don't want to forget this. Seeing the beauty in everything. When Rarity scratched that rock and showed the gold flakes in it, it looked drab in her, but beauty is not what we see, but what we make of what's in front of us and how we perceive beauty. And that's a wonderful lesson for kids and adults alike to remember. And I appreciate that the show took the time to remind us about beauty, and not only of how beautiful it is, but the pratfalls if we fall into it and we let it turn us inside out. As I was saying about Flash Magnus, courage in the wake of odds that are completely against you. Your people hemmed up. Your own commander won't even go in and put in work. But I'll put my life on the line because it's courage in the face of all yielding danger is what makes true heroes. And that was a story that was simply that. Here is this fireproof shield. Make it work. And Flash Magnus did exactly that. He made it work, saved his friends, defeated the dragons, and was celebrated as a hero because he earned it and deserved it. Courage in the face of unwinnable odds. That's what makes a hero. And that was reinforced in Scootaloo and understanding that, I understand that you're scared. But sometimes you gotta buck up, you gotta stare the danger in the face. And you have to be bigger and better than it in order to conquer it. And it's like, again, that's all these lessons are lessons that can be appreciated by kids and the adults watching and the fans of the show like me, to remind us of these lessons, about why these lessons are important. The other thing that I really, really appreciate, and I wanted to say this in separate of all of those stuff, was I appreciated that we were able to see different times and different cultures, which the show, while it does it hasn't really done it to this degree, because we had some Viking stuff and we had some ancient Chinese stuff, and I don't really know quite what Flash Magnus was on. That could be interpreted as Greek stuff if you want to interpret it that way. But the show doesn't really get the chance all that too often because it has to focus on story about characters in the present time of Equestria, whenever you want to fill in that blank. But I appreciate that this was an episode that not only appreciate what it is that our legends and our fables do and what they teach us, but bring us back to those times when we learn those lessons as a people, or in this case, as a race of ponies, to then understand and always know that those lessons always mean it and always matter. That is an episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and I was glad we were able to have this conversation. I apologize for it being this late. Life is indeed life. I'll try to get together next weekend. How about that? Go ahead and get up out of here. You know who it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time, man. Peace out.